Hey everyone, this is your Entrep Guru, Avinash Ramsbud, and today we're going to take a look at venture models. So what is a venture model? It refers to how the business is expected to run in terms of their scale of operations, their sources of finance, and accountability in terms of who are they accountable to. So there are three major ones. The first one is your promising startup model. So as you would see here, these are businesses. They start off with a great idea, but they typically lack a lot of external funding. So we don't really have much external funding from this, and therefore it is very much dependent upon the entrepreneur themselves in order to fund and start that business. So it is relatively low investment required, a little investment, and in addition, because it is so easy to start, it may be very much prevalent. So what will happen is that there can be a lot of competition and a high degree of uncertainty here. Characteristics: it's innovation driven, and that means they come up with a new product or service that solves a specific problem. It is based on lean operations. So in this case here, you normally run this on a very tight budget because it's very little financing used to start this business. It's very much founder driven. So the entrepreneur is the person who will be driving this type of business forward. And it is one in which there is a high level of uncertainty. And again, as I had indicated before, it is because there's a lot of competitors because it's so easy to start. So an example of one here would be if a local tech startup develops a new app and addresses a gap in the market, right? The founders bootstrapping, meaning that they could have gotten it from places like crowdfunding and stuff, or use their network for initial growth. So they try to use what is within their means in order to start that type of business. The other type of business that we have is what we call a venture-backed startup. And this one is where a venture capitalist, now please remember who they are. These are people who will invest in your business on behalf of another business. So basically, it's a business itself investing in yours. And so the venture capitalists will see the potential in your business, and they may decide that they want to invest in that business. Now, obviously, in that case, venture capitalists are not going to just invest in your business just like that. So they have to see that high potential for growth, and seeing that that business can actually be expanded quickly enough to accommodate that growth. So the characteristics of a venture-backed startup is that there will be a high potential for growth, as I indicated before. So in this case here, obviously, the business will aim for a rapid growth or expansion strategy, and they will rely on external funding. Now, it says here from angel investors, but it's more so from the venture capitalists, because they are the ones who tend to have a larger amount of funds available. Because again, remember, they are representing a business. You normally need a more experienced management for this type of business, and therefore you may need a management team to run your business rather than having the entrepreneur do it themselves. In this case here, the exit strategy may mean that you may eventually take your business public. Now, again, in this case, now remember, this is where another business is investing into your business. So you would have some level of mentoring and coaching happening here too, right? Or what will happen is that you do have someone to rely on for part of that decision-making aspect of it. So an example of this is a biotech company working on a breakthrough medical service that has secured millions in venture capitalist funding and support for clinical trials. So this is just an example that we can use. The other one that we have is what we call a corporate support startups, right? And these are normally supported by larger organizations, and they may also help with regards to things such as incubation, meaning taking that business idea and develop it into something even larger. And as you would see here, they normally arise from things such as innovation labs, and they can help that business by providing that means by which they can access funding, they can get resources, they can assist in terms of market access. Characteristics of a corporate supported startup, as it says here, I mean, obviously you are supported by a corporation, a larger business, and these startups, they receive resources from more established corporations, and it can include things such as capital, expertise, access to their network itself. In terms of strategic alignment, what tends to happen is that if the startup's goals are aligned with that of the corporation, then it tends to be a little better, because then in that case now they can clearly work together. There can be some level of risk sharing. So in this case now, you do share risk with that corporation, and eventually the corporation does have the potential to acquire your business. An example would be a startup company on AI technology that receives funding and mentorship from a tech giant like Google or Microsoft to accelerate products. Even in Trinidad, we can actually have where our larger companies, such as maybe even Ansa McCall or Neil and Massey, can also do the same and mentor other businesses and help them start and develop them, and eventually incorporate them into their businesses also. So that's it for today. Just one thing to note, as we see here, all right, you can move from a promising startup to other types of models. So just remember that. So not because you started one means that you stayed. So that's it for me for today. I want to thank you very much, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the Entrep Guru, Avinash Ramswamy. Thank you.